Hi and welcome everyone to what I'm considering a special episode. And the special episode of Gaming with Jason. What we're going to be talking about is the significance of the military doctrine and how to use it. And it is going off of a conversation that I've been having on Discord with a player that I really respect, and I respect the way that he plays. And I think that this is an important conversation to bring out to the forefront, not just to be had in private. What he is saying is that he uses the same strategy every time, and that is the reason why he wins. And it doesn't matter what doctrine that he uses. And he's right and he's wrong. He's right in the sense that, yeah, no, because here's the thing. There's a difference between strategy and doctrine. Your strategy includes naval doctrine and land doctrine. Okay, so your naval doctrine across the board, Eastern, Western, European, all the same naval vessels. You get access to them at the same time. There is no advantage other than tactical advantage, whether or not you want to be a naval power or you want to be a hybrid power or a balanced power, or you want to be a land power, or do you want to be an air power? What level? How do you think that you can win the game? Do you think that you can win the game because you have air superiority? Do you feel that you can win the game because you have naval superiority? Do you feel that you can win the game because you have the ultimate superiority on the land? Have you created a hybrid strategy? Now, strategy and doctrine are totally different things. Because this player likes to go with a heavy Navy strategy, which for most of the players, if you really want to win and you want to guarantee yourself a win, go with a heavy Navy strategy. There's no real there in some ways there's no real thought in it. There's no real tactics and strategy. Now there is some. I'm not going to sit there and say it is like a tools version, because it's not. I don't want to disrespect anybody that does the Navy, that uses Navy heavily in their strategy, because sometimes I do as well. And please stick with me through this. There is a point to all this, and you guys are going to learn something really, really cool, I think, and I hope you think that as well. Hey, don't forget to hit the like button if you are thinking about becoming a subscriber. Maybe this video will change your mind. Also, if you go down in the description, you can get my Discord server. So, anyways, getting back to, he is a strong Navy guy. Okay, and if he's going to be strong Navy, and again, no disrespect to anybody, because it's not meant. I respect Navy because, quite frankly, Navy is the primary key to winning a game. It can be. It doesn't have to be. I've won plenty of times showing that you don't need a Navy necessarily. Now, you do need to be aware of the Navy strategy. You need to be able to counteract the Navy strategy. So, for example, he wants to bring in frigates. Well, you know what? That's what my destroyers and my naval patrol strategy is all about. That's how I implement it. That's my tactic. Okay, that is my overall defense tactic against Navy. If I come across a 5 cruisers, or if I come across 3 cruisers and a destroyer and a frigate, well, the destroyer and the frigate really aren't going to be able to do much. The cruisers are really going to be what harms me. But the thing is he's got one frigate, and if he has just one frigate, which, if once we open up fire, I'm going to get close because I want to see an actual composition. If he has one frigate, well, it's not going to bother me. I'm going to send 2 wings of naval patrol at you. You're a dead man. There's no way you can defend against that, because the thing is I'm getting 3-to-1 hits. As long as my uh, fleet, or my task force of cruisers holds, or of destroyers holds up for at least 3 hours, I can win the battle. That's all I need is 3 hours. And hey, if I have to rebuild it, I have to rebuild it. And by that point in time, by the time we're getting to that type of battle, I've already got the production in the back end to go ahead and replace. And I'm probably already building a second fleet in preparation of losing my first fleet, but my naval patrol are going to remain intact, because this is how I'm going to take you out piece by piece. So there is a way to use just a tiny bit of navy and to be able to take out a naval power. There is a way to have no navy and take out a naval power. Because if they have one frigate, I'm going to lose one plane, and I'm going to do 75 damage. I'm going to take out 2 of yours for one of mine. And if I'm getting a 2-to-1 ratio, it costs me 850 components versus 3,000 to 5,000 components, depending upon what you're building. So who's going to be able to come out on top on the protection level? Okay. This is another part. This is strategy, though. Okay, now you're going to have to play a naval battle, and you're going to have to do land battles, because in order to win the game, you have to conquer land, not sea, and get any points for it. There is no victory. The only victory you get in Navy is just hey, I've got complete control of the seas, which then protects your transports and everything else like that, which is a good thing to do. It is not a wrong thing, okay? But what I am saying here is that if you are going to want to win the land battle is important that you follow specific doctrine. So, for example, going back to the Butcher of Aleppo, if what he does is he uses radar, multiple rocket launchers, has air superiorities, and he has SAMs. So he has SAMs to protect against any strikers or any air superiority fighters that come in. He's got superiority fighters. So now all of a sudden he creates a 2-on-1. Okay, now that allows the multiple rocket launchers to hit every single target that's on radar, so that they can just slowly take a territory by territory. You can grind down the best army in the world like this. But the thing is, now if I was using the Western Doctrine, what I would be doing instead of using the mobile radars, I would be using the AWACS. I would be using my air superiority fighters, because I get a bonus for air superiority fighters. Plus, I would also be using my helicopters to go in there and take out those SAMs, because you get a bonus on attack helicopters, and it treats the SAMs like armor. And so therefore, I can counteract it, and I can do the same exact thing that you're doing, but I'm just changing my units. And because I'm changing the units to fit the doctrine to follow the same exact thing, I am getting the added bonuses that come with it, because those bonuses are meant to counteract the other doctrines. For example, the AWACS is meant to counteract the mobile radar, and so the AWACS, I believe, has a higher range. AWACS maxed out is like 300 range. I think you only get like 250 on the radar. So you get a little bit more of that. Plus, you get to peek and do the same thing, but you're doing it with your attack helicopters and your light infantry, because your infantry are coming in there to take the land and to clean up whatever your helicopters or your attack helicopters didn't take out. And that's the same thing as using multiple rocket launchers. You're just using different units to accomplish the same thing, because you're getting bonuses. Why not use those bonuses to your advantage? Okay, and if you're in the European doctrine, instead of bringing in SAMs, excuse me, hold on, let me go back to the Western Doctrine. In the Western Doctrine, you're going to want to use theater defense, because you get access to theater defense, which is much, much better than anything that the Eastern Doctrine has to offer, even with its bonuses, if they're using SAMs. In the European Doctrine, you're going to use the mobile radar, because the mobile radar is it's something that you use with your artillery, but it is also something that you can use because you're not getting early access to the AWACS like you are in the Western. So you continue to use the mobile radar. There's no bonus on either side. It's even across the board. But what you're getting is you're getting a bonus on the mobile anti-air. So instead of bringing in SAMs, I'm going to bring in mobile anti-air. Now, you're not getting a bonus on the artillery, but you are getting a bonus on the or on the strike fighters. So instead of using artillery, I'm going to use strike fighters with my mobile radar. And just like if I was going up against the Western Doctrine and their attack helicopters, or the Eastern Doctrine and their gunship helicopters, the mech infantry was really good against the helicopters and against air defense, as well as having the mobile anti-air along with it. Now it's going to suffer different types of casualties than the Eastern and the Western Doctrine, but that's because the unit functions differently. But using those bonuses to your advantage makes it so that you can use your resources competitively. This is the reason why I talk so much about the military doctrines and why you want to use the doctrines, because all in all, you can do the same strategy all in all. Okay, I've got radar, I've got my artillery, or I got my strikers, or I got my helicopters, and I've got my anti-air, whether it be SAMs or mobile anti-air, or I have air superiority with the Western Doctrine, or I've got the theater defense system. You know, there are certain things. Each one has its little power plays, and each one is meant to counter the other doctrine. So if you come across somebody that is using their doctrine properly, and if you're using your doctrine properly, your doctrine has already got built-in capabilities to counter their doctrine, because they may get an extra 20% on armor, and if you're not using the doctrine properly, they're going to do more damage, you're going to suffer more casualties, and you're going to have to produce much more troops, much more units over the game in the long term. This is why I talk about the military doctrine and why it is significant, because each one is meant to counteract the others. And the Eastern Doctrine, in my opinion, is the best in countering both the Western and the European, because the Western and the European kind of complement each other and are better as friends than they are as foes. But against the Eastern Doctrine, both are meant to counteract that, and they're not really meant to counter the Western Doctrine, other than maybe the air superiorities with the mobile anti-air. But the MiGs are good in the air superiority sense, but ours are, I think it was a Tomcat, I forget the aircraft name, but our air superiority fighters in the Western Doctrine are much better. Now let's talk a little bit about the Western Doctrine. If you're going to use the Western Doctrine, you are going to commit to being an air power, okay? Because that is what the Western Doctrine is built upon. You have your AWACS, you have your air superiorities, which means that you have complete air superiority over anything. So if somebody sends strikers, you're taking care of them, you're protecting your troops, and that is true air superiority, because your attack helicopters can get in there and do a lot more damage. Your other units have the ability to get in there and do their job, because instead of using the mobile SAMs or the SAMs, you are using your air superiority in the same way. But you also want to have one wing of strikers to go along with that. So now you've got your attack helicopters, you've got your AWACS, you've got your superiority fighters, and you've got 2 wings of those, and then you got another wing of strikers to support that in case there are SAMs in the area, so that your AWACS can spot it, your air superiority can go after the people that are coming at you, and you can send your helicopters, your attack helicopters and your strikers after the SAMs, because the SAMs cannot protect against helicopters, which both the Eastern and Western Doctrine have bonuses in. But anyways, I hope this helps you guys understand a little bit more of using the doctrine. And again, I hope that you choose to subscribe to this. I will see you guys in the next video.